few books behind on my Goodreads goal, so I'm going to try to catch up in this video. I think I'm going to start with like something really short that I feel like I can probably finish today. I have a bunch of little like graphic novels on this shelf, so I think I might grab one of those. I feel like those are really easy to read and really fun. This is also a really short book, so maybe I could read something like that. This looks like a really good graphic novel. I feel like maybe this one would be a good option. I've been in my historical like fiction mood, and this is like history based, so I feel like this could be a good read. This book looks exactly what I'm looking for, or looks like it is. It's called Displacement, and it says, suddenly Kiku's torn out of her own time. Though she was on vacation in present day San Francisco just moments before, Kiku now finds herself displaced in the 1940s Japanese American interment camp, where her late grandmother Ernestina was forcibly relocated during World War II. This looks really good, and I feel like it's an easy way to learn about history, like in a digestible way that isn't going to feel like too heavy, even though this is like a very heavy topic. This book was so good. I finished it yesterday or early this morning, and I really enjoyed it. This was definitely a thicker graphic novel, but it's one of those that I feel like had so much depth for a graphic novel. If you're looking for one that has like historical themes, you will really enjoy this one. I think I shared what it was about, but it's called Displacement, and it's about World War II and the Japanese Americans and the internment camps that they were in during that time. And I really loved this. And I think the quote at the end really encapsulates like what this book is about. It says, memories are powerful things, and it kind of talks about how like memories are woven all throughout history and how they link so many different things together. This was so powerful. 4 stars, really good. I definitely want to read more from this author. I feel like because this was so enjoyable, like it made me want to dive more into this history. And I was actually telling Brady, like after I got done, I was like, it was so good. I feel like there are so many things about history that I've heard about, but at the time, like maybe I was just trying to get information for like a test, or I was just trying to like, I don't know, just get information for like school purposes, but not because I actually was like caring to dive deeper. And now that I'm older, I just have such an interest and fascination for history, which I never really like had ever. Like I've never been someone who's like been wanting to know about history, but like, so the main character in this, she was saying that she didn't know like Japanese and didn't know a lot of like, I don't know, cultural things that her family like used to celebrate, and she was wondering why. And by the end of the book, you kind of figure out that she wasn't taught those things because her family like wanted to be as quote unquote American as possible and share more of their culture less, because they felt like that could be like bad, or people could see that as like a bad thing, and that they didn't like want to be a part of America. And she just like talks in her author's note about how there was so much that she didn't know, and even in researching this book that she like learned a lot about like her grandmother and all the things. So I really enjoyed this. The pictures in this were also really easy to follow. There's like different dates and things in this, so you can kind of be connected throughout like what happens throughout the years. This was just so good. They also mentioned like the civil rights movement and like how like, I don't know, that even is something that like is linked to, I don't know, the way that different Japanese Americans can be portrayed. And it just was so good, like so good. I definitely want to read more by this author, but I also want to learn even more history just overall about everything, because like everything is so linked. Like until you start like looking at the past of like what our ancestors or people that we know their ancestors have been through, we can't really reflect and look at like the present until we like know the past. So love this. On a lighter note, even though that book was still like, it was heavy content, but it was very enjoyable and like easy to read, like easy to digest. It didn't like, and I think because it was a graphic novel maybe, but it was very enjoyable. I think I'm going to read Pumpkinheads next. And I feel like this is perfect for today because I'm actually getting ready to go to a pumpkin patch. So I'm gonna bring this with me, pick up some pumpkins, do some fall stuff. I kind of want to hop over to a bookstore too, like while I'm in the area. I just don't know like if I'll get to one or not, but this is the next book that we're gonna read. It looks cute and perfect for fall. Do I need to be in Barnes? Absolutely not. Am I in here with a basket? Yes, a basket. Yes, I am. It just happens, okay? I feel like I cannot have a perfect day, like a true perfect, like go to the pumpkin patch, like, you know, get coffee with friends, relaxing day without Barnes. Like Barnes just like, I don't know, encapsulates a perfect day. I wish I had like an indie bookstore in my hometown. There's one like 40 minutes from here, but they were closed today. Otherwise I definitely would have went there. But the first book that I'm like looking at and thinking about taking home is Hello Beautiful. Now I am a little scared by this one because for one, it is thick, and you guys know I'm just now like dipping my toe into contemporary fiction, but this one looks like a really good book. It says, can love make a broken person whole? It says an exquisite homage to Louisa May Alcott's timeless classic Little Women. Hello Beautiful is a profoundly moving portrait of what is possible when we choose to love someone, not in spite of who they are, but because of it. And I've heard so many people have said that this book is really good. And you guys know I love a hardback better than a paperback. I feel like this could be a good read. And it is set in, I think it starts in 1960. And you guys know I've been really loving books that are like not set in present day. So this could be one that I end up bringing home. I don't even know what this book is about, but I love the cover. And I think this is a debut book as well, which is making me want to bring it home, even though I don't know what it's even about. I already have 4 books. This is wild. Like I've just barely started shopping and I already have 4 books that I'm putting into my basket. The one thing that is so hard about like reviews online, like book reviews, is people will like love a book, hate a book, and then I will feel like I'm gonna feel the same way. Like I've seen so many people talk about Daydream and some people absolutely love it and some people are like, it wasn't for me. And now I'm scared to read it because it's 426 pages and like, what if I don't like it? Like this is literally the character I was most excited to read about because I wasn't like a huge fan of Icebreaker and Wildfire was like just okay for me, but this entire series I've been waiting to hear Henry's story. If you've read this book, please let me know your thoughts. Like I need to know what we're thinking of this book. Have a book haul. Got tons of books at Barnes. Not what I expected to do today, but honestly, you guys sent so many recommendations to me and they have been so good so far. So I've just been like wanting to read more of them. So I picked up a ton of you guys' recommendations, but I also finished 2 books in this video. So did I finish as many books as I planned? No. Did I add 2 more books that I finished and really enjoyed and I can like add those to my Goodreads goal? Yes. So I feel like I'll take that as a win, but both of these were graphic novels. The first one I finished was Displacement. This book genuinely has just like made me want to learn so much more about Japanese American culture and like just the history behind so many people's stories. I feel like so often I don't know, I think a lot about how I learned so much history in high school and didn't really like care to dive deeper because I was really just like learning it for a test and wasn't really connecting that like the history I'm learning is stuff that still affects people today. And I don't know, I just feel like stories like this made that so much more prevalent and really enjoyed this. Definitely want to read more from this author, rating this 4 stars. And I also really enjoyed Pumpkinheads. Really think that this is fun and cute. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna rate this just yet. It definitely is gonna be highly rated. I just don't know like where, if it's gonna be like 4, 3.5, like I don't know. I really did enjoy it. It was just really fun. I just think it's so different from this story. Enjoyed both of them, but for different reasons. You know, like this one was very like deep and introspective, even for a graphic novel. And this one was like fun and cutesy and perfect for the season. So sometimes I have a hard time rating books when they are so different, like the exact same rating. You know what I mean? Like, is this a 4-star? Because like the other book was a 4-star like book and I loved it. So not really sure what I'm gonna rate that there, but I do have a huge haul for you guys that I'm going to go through. I'm gonna try to do this fast before the sun really starts like just changing the like video quality here. I got lots of fiction, which is wild. I also ended up getting a romance and I got a total of 5 books. So the first book that I got is Take My Hand by Dolene Perkins Valdez. I ended up getting historical fiction as well. So I got contemporary fiction, historical fiction, and a romance. I'm really excited about this book because so many of you guys said that this is a great book. It's inspired by true events and it says it's brimming with hope. Take My Hand is a stirring exploration of accountability and redemption. It's set in Montgomery, Alabama in 1973. It says, fresh out of nursing school, Sybil Townsend intends to make a difference, especially in her African-American community. At the Montgomery Family Planning Clinic, she hopes to help women shape their destinies to make their own choices for their lives and their bodies. But when her first week on the job takes her along a dusty country road to a worn-down one-room cabin, Sybil is shocked to learn that her new patients, Erica and India, are children just 11 and 13 years old. Neither of the Williams sisters have even kissed a boy, but they are poor and black, and for those handling the family's welfare benefits, that's reason enough to have the girls on birth control. As Sybil grapples with her role, she takes India, Erica, and their family into her heart until one day she arrives at their door to learn the unthinkable has happened and nothing will ever be the same. Decades later, with her daughter grown and a long career in her wake, Dr. Sybil Townsend is ready to retire, to find her peace, and to leave the past behind. But there are people and stories that refuse to be forgotten that must not be forgotten. Looks like such a great story, and I'm pretty sure I know what it's about, but I don't want to like spoil anything, so I'm gonna leave it to you to like pick it up. It also looks like there's a good amount of dialogue in here. You guys know I love dialogue. There's also short chapters. So for anyone who's like thinking about buying this, maybe if you're not gonna buy it in person, just keep that in mind. I also picked up Evie Drake Starts Over. This looks so good. This is a story about grief. It says the heartfelt New York Times bestselling debut about the unlikely relationship between a young woman who's lost her husband and a major league pitcher who's lost his game. In a sleepy seaside town in Maine, recently widowed Evie Drake rarely leaves her large, painfully empty house nearly a year after her husband's death. Everyone in town thinks grief keeps her locked inside and Evie doesn't correct them. Meanwhile, in New York City, former Major League pitcher Dean Tinney is wrestling with a downward turn in his career. As the media storm heats up, an invitation from an old friend to stay in Maine seems like a chance to hit the reset button on Dean's future. When he rents an apartment at the back of Evie's house, the two make a deal. Dean won't ask about Evie's husband and Evie won't ask about Dean's career. Rules, though, have a way of begging to be broken. And what starts as an unexpected friendship soon turns into something more. To move forward, Evie and Dean will have to reckon with their past, the friendships they've damaged, the secrets they've kept. But in life, as in baseball, there's always a chance. Up until the last out. A joyful, hilarious, and hope-filled debut, Evie Drake Starts Over will have you cheering for the 2 most unlikely comebacks of the year and will leave you wanting more from Linda Holmes. And this, like, just literally the inside of this looks like a romance. Not that it's like about a romance or anything, but like the words are really big. There's tons of dialogue, and I feel like I'm learning that all contemporary fiction is not the same. Like I think in my head I was like, oh, it's gonna be so like lyrical, it's gonna be like wordy. And by wordy I mean like there's not gonna be a lot of dialogue. It's gonna be like flowery and like the birds flew in the air. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm learning that all contemporary fiction is not the same. And I feel like you guys have taught me that, because the book recs that you've given are all spot on. Like, they all, like, I literally was like, can you recommend historical fiction books or contemporary fiction where like the books have like a plot of romance in there? And you guys have, and they're literally exactly what I'm looking for. So I got that. And I also got this, which is a romance. I got Bet on It by Jodie Slaughter. Now, the reviews of this aren't amazing, but they're not bad. They're just like mid. I think they're like 3.5. But so many of you guys like have said that you really enjoyed this book and you wish that the ratings were higher. One of you guys even left a rating and you said, like, this is why you like hate reading reviews on Goodreads, and you rated it 5 stars. And I love reading you guys' reviews specifically on Goodreads. Like, so make sure you guys are following me there, because I love looking at your reviews and seeing what you've said. I genuinely do not care about other people's reviews, but I will like look at yours, because I feel like our, like, what we read is similar. And one of you guys was literally like, do not take stock in like what people have said about this book. It's like really good. And like, of course, I'm sure there are people who didn't like it, but I love that, because like sometimes a 3.5 star read for one person might be a 5-star read for another person. And this says, the first time Asia Owens encounters the man of her dreams, she's having a panic attack in the frozen food section of the Piggly Wiggly. The second time, he's being introduced to her as her favorite bingo buddy's semi-estranged grandson. From there, all it takes is one game for her to realize that he's definitely going to be a problem. And if there's anything she's already has a surplus of, it's problems. In Walker Abbott's mind, there are only 2 worthwhile things in Greenbelt, South Carolina. The peach cobbler at his old favorite diner, and his ailing grandmother. Dragging himself back after more than a decade away, he's counting down the days until Graham heals and he can get back to his real life, far away from the trauma inside of those city limits. Just when he thinks his plan is solid, Asia enters to shake everything up. A hastily made bingo-based sex pact is supposed to keep this thing between them from getting out of hand, especially when submitting to their feelings means disrupting their carefully balanced lives. But emotions are just like bingo callers, they refuse to be ignored. This looks so cute. And the first sentence literally goes, all things considered, the frozen dinner section of the Piggly Wiggly was one of the better places to have a panic attack. That literally was like the first sentence, and I'm like already like, how does this end? You know, like I'm invested. So this is the romance I picked up. And I also picked up another book that I actually showed you guys in the bookstore. Really excited for this one. So many of you guys said that this book was beautiful, that you cried. It says, Can Love Make a Broken Person Whole? William Waters grew up in a house silenced by tragedy, where his parents could hardly bear to look at him, much less love him. So when he meets the spirited and ambitious Julia in his freshman year of college, it's as if the world has lit up around him. When Julia comes to her family, as she and her 3 sisters are inseparable, With Julia comes her family, as she and her 3 sisters are inseparable. Sylvie, the family's dreamer, is happiest with her nose in a book. Cecilia is a free-spirited artist, and Emmeline patiently takes care of them all. With this family, William experiences a newfound contentment. Every moment in their house is filled with loving chaos. But when darkness from William's past surfaces, jeopardizing not only Julia's carefully orchestrated plans for their future, but the sisters' unshakable devotion to one another, the result is a catastrophic family rift that challenges their lives for generations. Will the loyalty that once rooted them be strong enough to draw them back together when it matters most? An exquisite homage to Louisa May Alcott's timeless classic, Little Women, Hello Beautiful is a profoundly moving portrait of what is possible when we choose to love someone not in spite of who they are, but because of it. This looks like it's gonna be deep and beautiful. And another book that I think I'm maybe most excited about out of this entire stack is Jaded by Ella Lee. Never heard of this book. One of you guys actually recommended it on the video where I said, can you please recommend contemporary fiction? And you recommended this one. Again, I've never heard of it before, but it looks really good. It says, Jade isn't even my real name. Jade began as my Starbucks name because all children of immigrants have a Starbucks name. Jane has become everything she ever wanted to be. Successful lawyer, dutiful daughter, beloved girlfriend, loyal friend, until Jade wakes up in the morning after a work event, naked and alone with no idea how she got home. Caught between her parents who can't understand, her boyfriend who feels betrayed, and her job that expects silence, Jade and the world she has so carefully constructed starts to crumble. She thought she was everything she ever wanted to be, but now she feels like nothing at all. For fans of Queenie and I May Destroy You, Jaded is both a darkly funny send-up of corporate culture and a blistering account of consent, power, and identity in a broken society. This just looks so good. And the words are huge. Like, literally, I don't know if you guys can even tell how big those words are. Like, the words are huge. Like, it looks like it's large print and it's not. So I'm really excited for this one. I think that this is by a Black author, I'm pretty sure. So I picked a total of 3 out of the 5 books. 3 of these are written by Black authors. Bet On It is by Jody Slaughter. Take My Hand, I think this is by a Black author. Pretty sure. And then these other 2 are not, but I always try to add in diverse reads because, again, you guys know that I love doing that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little book haul, but also the wrap up of the books that I've read. I'm going on a bookish trip very soon, so you guys will see that video coming, but make sure you're following over on Instagram because I'll be sharing over there in real time. It's gonna be a fun, like, bookish trip, and it will be just like so cozy and fall vibes. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.